Good morning, everyone. It's Donna Maria, and welcome to today's Lifestyle CEO Show, where we empower you to enjoy your life, build your business, and have your way. I'm your host from DonnaMaria.com, and I'm so excited to be with you here today. So, listen, what we're going to talk about today is how to create systems in your business. Now, this may seem like a very basic topic, and it is, but it's harder than it sounds to create systems in your business and stick with them. Like, it's easy to lay it out on paper, lay it out with flow charts or whatever, but it's more of a challenge because it requires discipline to actually stick with them. So we're going to talk about this in a couple of different areas in your business, in no particular order, because they're all super important. The first is in your household, the second is in your money, the third is in your marketing, and the fourth is in your sales. I hope I can remember that as I'm going through this, the order that I want to do it in. Again, household, money, marketing, and sales. I should be able to remember that. So listen, household, super, super important, right? Because if your household is in disarray, then your business is probably in disarray. And if that's in disarray, then your life might be in a little bit of disarray. Now, I don't mean that it has to be perfect and everything has to be lovely, because mine certainly isn't. But when you have systems, then you actually have some milestones in every moment of every day that you can count on to keep you on track. And this is what's so important. So, for example, we have a system in our household, as you probably do too, especially if you have children. Like, they have to be in school if they're schooled outside your home, or even if they're schooled inside your home. Like, school starts at a certain time, and that means that certain things have to happen. Hello there, thanks for joining. Certain things have to happen, right? And they have to happen in an orderly fashion, in a sequence, in order for the end result to be achieved. So this morning, just this morning, for example, our system had to change because my daughter is in her final exams. My son is not in his final exams because they don't go to the same school and they're in different grades. So what that meant was we all had to sit down and, plot out the new system for the period of time when she's taking her final exams. So we all plotted it out, and of course everybody agrees to it. And so what happens this morning? My son doesn't want to get out of bed. So I'm chasing him, I'm running after him. I'm trying to do what I need to do. My daughter's all getting ready. She's trying to be calm because she's really zen when she's getting ready for her finals, and she's very focused. So her life is a little bit chaotic because of all the noise going on around her. And what I normally do is I take one to school and drop her off. And then on the way back, because I have to pass by my son's school on the way back home, where I sit here and meet with you at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern every day, I drop him off. Well, this morning, if I waited for him, she was going to be late for her final exam, and that wasn't okay. So I had to leave him, come back, fussing too. I was fussing. Like, leave him, go take care of her, then come back and pick him up, which didn't make me late because I build in a padding in my schedule, but it still made me a little frazzled. So I'm a little frazzled right now. But that's just how it is. But when you have a system in place, somebody can throw it off. But the point is, tomorrow we're going to be back on the system. Okay. So that it really helps to put a framework for everything that you do in your household. And then that helps you arrive at the place where you need to run your business, wherever that is, with a mindset of, okay, that part of my system is done in my household. Now I can turn my attention to the part of the system that I need to take care of in my business. So that's just a mini example of how important it is to have these sorts of systems that everybody buys into in your household. And sometimes I have to explain to my children, look, you guys, you're not here to see me work from home all day. When you come home, I may, have some sort of a meal fixed for you, and, your clothes may be washed, or what have you. But you generally don't know that I'm working all day. I am really compressing in the time frame from when I take you to school to when I pick you up. I compress that time frame, and I, achieve a lot of very specific things during those time frames, so that after those time frames and before those time frames, I can work on the household system. So this is a really important part of success in your business, is these type of systems. Because again, if your household's a little insane, your business is going to feel that way as well. So it's less of a challenge. I'm not saying your household, but my household has been in disarray off and on over time on many occasions. Okay, but you have to be able to sort of separate in your mind that disarray from your business disarray. They do overlap and they do impact each other, but from time to time, because life can get a little crazy and chaotic sometimes, you really want to insulate your business from that to the extent that you can, so that you keep the chaos or whatever might be going on in your home for a period of time, because it can get a little crazy in families, right? And then, you have your systems in place in your business. So it's really important to have those systems in your home so that when things do get chaotic and off track, you have a starting point to go back to so that you can normalize everything again. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second one is with your money. Okay, so when you start a business, and this is important in your household too, but let's just talk about business for now. When you start a business, you have no customers, you have no headaches, you have no lost packages. UPS hasn't lost anything or broken anything. You don't have people asking for refunds, and you're just, creating your products, creating your programs, whatever it is that you're doing, and life is, going along swimmingly. Well, at some point in time, these orders hopefully start rolling in. So you're going to have to create some systems where your money is concerned. So when you get an order, where does that money go? Does it go into your PayPal account, your business PayPal account, hopefully? Does it go into a Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever you have sort of an account? How is it processed, right? Who's your merchant service company? How is it processed? How is it secured? How is the customer's information secured on your website or wherever it comes in on? Once the money is there, what happens to it? Who accounts for it? Who looks at it every month and sees if it reaches sales goals? Who looks at it every month and accounts for it in terms of what part of it is your income, what part of it is taxed, what part of it is shipping, you're passing through to your customers and so forth. So those things need to be looked at. And that is probably the first system that you should put in place in your business. Even if all your sale was $50 or $75, there should be a system in place for that. And even if it's manual at first, I get that sometimes it might be manual and maybe doing it yourself, but there needs to be a system. So you're not waiting until you're pressed to go and account for your money, that you actually take a look every Wednesday at noon or Saturday at 2 or whatever it is. So that's the time that you take to, update your books and make sure that everything's accounted for so that you are not in chaos at, typically in your business where money is concerned, that you don't have to worry about it. It's not hanging over your head because you're going to handle it every Saturday at 2. Okay, so once you put the system in place for yourself and you're doing it manually, if that's what you have to do on the front end, you create a system so that when you hand it off, it's not chaos. Like you can sit down with a bookkeeper or an accountant and say, okay, here's how my business works. Like that's what they're going to want to know. And you're going to have to pay them a whole lot more money if you have no system because they're going to have to create it for you. So here's my system. This is what I do. Here's my PayPal account or here's my bank account. Here's how my fees are accounted for those, my purchases. Here's where the money goes. Here's how much I owe every month in taxes, or here's how much I owe every month in, state, federal. Here's how the shipping costs are accounted for if you ship physical products. So all these things, like they're hard to put in place. Like systems are a pain in the rear end to put in place. But once they're in place, oh my gosh, the relief that you feel in your business is it's just amazing. It just takes a huge load off of you personally, financially, professionally. You sleep better. All sorts of things, work together more smoothly in your life when you have these sorts of systems. And they really are ultimately the key to success in your business, because if you don't have systems in place, you're going to drive yourself nuts. Okay, marketing. So let's talk about marketing. And this is a big one as well. And here's where I see it come up a lot. Social media. Social media. So here's what I see a lot. I have this product, everything's, rolling along. I'm doing my own social media, no big deal. But now I'm getting more orders because I'm doing such a good job with my social media marketing, right? So I'm getting all these orders and I'm getting opportunities to do other things that I want to take advantage of. Plus I want to expand my line. I want to introduce a new product, so I got to focus on that. I need someone to help me with my social media. So when I hear people say, I need help with my social media, it usually means one of two things, and they often haven't thought of exactly which one they mean. The first is, I have a social media system and I need someone to run it for me. The second is, I have no system. I need someone to create the system and run it for me. Those are two very, very different things. And if you are thinking about setting up social media systems and hiring them out, you have got to establish whether you're looking for someone to do and implement the system that you have in place, or whether you want someone to come in and assess your business and create a system for you and then work that system as well. Because you're going to pay a lot more for the latter than you are for the former. That's why it's important to do what? Create your own systems, because you know your brand, like you know what your brand stands for. So to hire someone and tell them to do your social media is really a disservice to your brand if they haven't taken the time, which costs money, to sit down and learn about your brand. Like, you need to tell them what your company's about. You need to let them know, here's what our message is. Here's what we stand for. Here's our colors. Here's what kinds of graphics work. Here's what kinds of graphics don't work. And if you tell them that and give them that information, if they know what they're doing, they could do a good job for you. But if you don't tell them that and you just dump it on them, who knows what they're going to come up with. And we've seen a lot of big companies get in trouble over this. Like, they'll hire, interns or summer associates from college or whatever, just go talk to our customers, give them information about how great our soda is or whatever. And then the rep doesn't know the brand well enough to speak for it, because that's what social media is. It's speaking on behalf of your brand. It's speaking your voice. It's speaking your message. They don't understand the message. They don't have a deep-rooted understanding of what it is. They go off and say something awful to a customer that ends up all over social media, and it's a mess. So what you want to do is you want to create the systems. Like, you need to sit down and take ownership of this. This cannot be delegated, okay? It could be delegated, but you're going to spend a whole lot of money for it, and you're going to take a really big risk that you're going to be working with someone that doesn't intricately understand your brand. You need to understand your brand and create the systems, whether it's Instagram, Facebook. Here's the system: 5 posts a week at this particular time of day, because Instagram says this is the best time for me to post. That's going to change too, because people don't always stay the same. You have to monitor that. But this is what we post. This is how we post it. These are the hashtags we use. These are the hashtags we don't use. This is how we go back and engage. This is how we DM. This is how we don't DM. Okay? Facebook, same thing. Here's what we post. We always check the inbox 5 times a week at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and respond to everybody that's inboxed us. And then we respond to all the comments 3 times a day, 7 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. We respond. Here's how we respond. If you are not me, and everybody knows that it's usually me responding, you need to sign it. Like, this is Donna responding on behalf of such and such a brand. You need to figure all that stuff out on the front end. Now, you don't have to be an expert at social media to do this, but you do have to get your feet wet in your own brand and in your own messaging, so that when you pass it on to someone else, those sorts of basic systems are in place, and you have a touch tone against which to monitor their performance. Because if you just hand it off to someone, who knows what they're doing, and you can say, well, that's not what I want. Well, what do you want? Well, I'm not sure what I want. Well, you didn't tell me what you wanted, so I just looked at what you did and kind of did the best I could. Okay, that's going to take you a whole lot more time. It's going to suck your energy. It's going to frustrate whoever you hired to help you, and it's just not going to move things forward. So my strong suggestion is that you manage it yourself in a systematized way, so that when it's time to hand it off, you have a system to hand off to someone, okay? All right, so marketing. Let me give you another example. Or maybe this is more like sales. So let's just move on to sales. Okay, when you have a system for sales in your business, everything runs a lot more smoothly. Now, this is going to vary depending on what your business is, depending on how you like to sell, what kind of selling tactics are best for you, what works, what doesn't work, what you're good at. Okay, so it's going to be different for everyone. But when you create systems like sales calls on Mondays, I do all my sales calls on Mondays. I don't make anything. I don't produce anything. I don't deal with social media. I don't deal with that. I just make sales calls on Mondays. And here's how I do it. Here's my sales script. Here's the checkoffs, the marks that I check off on the sales script. Or maybe you use a program to do this. You can have this systematized in some sort of program that you use. Whatever the case may be, you create those systems. Hey there, Kathy. Glad that you're here. I hope this is resonating with you. If you have any questions, let me know. Make sure that you create those systems. Now, with technology today, it's easier than ever to create those systems. But let me just tell you a little story. Because before all of this technology, I had a business. Like, I had to create these systems myself. And I can tell you without a doubt that one of the reasons my business, the Indie Business Network, has worked for so long is because I had systems in place before I layered technology on top of it. By necessity, I had that. So, for example, there was no social media when I started my business. All I had was an email newsletter. That was all I had. There was no automated billing, and my membership is annual. So there was no way to annually bill people. There was no way to automatically send out a message to people. Like right now, we have our system programmed so that you get automation there. Now, it's personalized automation, and I'm not disappearing from my business with automation. It's a whole nother topic. But it's easy for me because I have a system. It's easy for others because they know the system, right? They get to know the system, and they know if they have a question about the system, they know how to reach me. So it's not a bunch of robots back there, but we do have systems in place that are automated so that things can run a lot more smoothly, and you can have this as well. But when I first started my business, guess who the system was? Me. I was the only system. So for example, when it came time to process someone's new membership back in the day, right, I would receive an email through a secure server because our website was even secure back then. Security is way different now, but it was secure for what security meant back then. People would join. I would have their credit card information, and then I would log into my merchant processing account manually, type in all their information manually, process their payment, and then manually cut and paste, because I had a system, cut and paste the welcome message to welcome them to the Indie Business Network. And this would go on, all sorts of systems for their membership. And then at the end of their membership, 30 days before the expiration, I would go in, well, actually not necessarily 30 days, but the month before, right? The month before the expiration, on the first day of the month usually, I would go in, I would cut and paste a renewal notice to everyone. So how did I do this? I had sent a welcome message the year before, so I would go back to my email, check the sent folder for the month and the year that I was looking for, know who to send the message to because they were the members, cut and paste the renewal notice, and then they would reply to it. And then when they did, guess what? I would go in and I would manually enter the information again into the system to process the payment. And if the credit card was expired, guess what? I would pick up the phone and I would call, or I would email and say, call me. So it was all very, very labor intensive, but it was systematized. And it is the reason the business exists today. So when technology sort of rolled along, I was able to say, okay, here's the system. So when I hired somebody to help me create the technological system behind all of it, it was easy for him. Why? Because I was like, here's how it works. This is what I do. Here's exactly how it works. Here's the date I do this. Here's the date I do that. Then he was able to go into the system, push all the buttons, take the messages I had been sending out, edit them a little bit, because it was time to update them, stick them in the system, and then we were able to run tests. So he didn't have to figure any of that out, and I didn't have to pay him to. I just had to pay him to implement my existing system into a program that he understood. And so it just was so smooth. Now, of course, it wasn't without some of the pain points because changing systems is hard. Like changing from this system to this system is a labor-intensive process. So you're going to have to kind of get used to that. But it's so much easier when the system is already in place. So for your sales, for example, you want to systematize it. For example, if you sell physical products, where do you sell them? Do you sell them at shows? Systematize your shows. Like, how many shows do you do? 6 a year? Which ones? Systematize them. Make sure you calendar. It's going to be time to apply for this show and pay the fee so I can get my booth at that show. Here's the system that's in place. You calendar it. I need to renew my insurance. We send out renewal notices. We offer product liability insurance to our members. If you're interested in that, let me know. But we send out renewal notices, but sometimes people don't track it. Like they don't track it themselves. So when they get a notice from us, a lot of times people wait till the last minute And then if the insurance lapses and you've waited till the last minute, there's nothing we can do about that except you have to buy a new policy. And we might be able to backdate it, but that's outside the system as a manual process. So, whenever you buy something that has to be renewed, make a mental note, not a mental note, a written note in whatever calendaring system you use, so that you can remind yourself, so that you don't get stuck and bogged down with these sorts of things. So again, if you do a show, why not, write it down. Here's going to be the time to apply for that show again. I'm going to need $350 for the booth fee. So you don't get stuck with, I don't have any money. No, put aside the money in advance. So you have it saved up over the years or whatever so that you can pay the fee without any problem because you have a system. Systematize payments to your 401k, like straight out of the bank account. You don't even see the money. Just build it up over time and you don't even look at it. Systematize selling in terms of product creation. When are you going to create products? When are you going to do your limited editions? How are you going to get ready for sales at the holidays? Are you going to do pop-ups? How many pop-ups are you going to do? So again, it sounds overwhelming when I list it like that, but you don't have to do all those things. You pick the ones that work for you and you create systems around them. Now, if you have no systems in your business right now, you're probably pulling your hair out if you've been in business for a while. So what I want you to do is I want you to stop for a moment, write down all the things that you're doing, and one by one, isolate them for the direct purpose of creating a system around them so that you can have a system in place. This includes your email marketing. This includes updating your website. It doesn't have to be done willy-nilly. It can be done twice a month. I have somebody, it's automated. I've got somebody who updates my WordPress websites because WordPress needs to be updated on a regular basis and all the plugins and stuff. I don't even, I kind of understand it. I understand it enough to know that there's a system. So that if something happens to the current system or the person running it, I can hire someone else to run the system because it's a system. So I understand just that much about it. I don't understand all the technical stuff. So I want to encourage you by that example that you don't have to understand all the technical stuff. You just have to understand enough of it to know how to find a replacement if the current system breaks. You have to understand enough of what the system is to understand how to find someone else or some other system to do it if the system breaks. Okay, and I know a lot of people are saying, but I don't have the money for the systems. The systems are expensive. Sometimes they are. So what I want you to do in that case is prioritize. What are the most important systems to your business? And basically that revolves around where the money goes and where the money comes from. So wherever the money is coming from, systematize that. Wherever the money goes, systematize that, and then add everything else on top of that. You can do this. You can write this down, and you can prioritize it. And if you need help with this, DonnaMaria.com is the place to go because, look, it's not so much how to do all this stuff that's overwhelming. It's having someone who can help walk you through it and encourage you and keep you supported while you're doing it. And being able to do the stuff with someone who's done it before is oftentimes the difference between success and hard success and easy success, or easier success, I should say. Not easy because nothing's easy. Easier success in your business. And that can be me if you're interested, because I offer those sorts of support type services because I've seen enough and I've done enough in business to know how to help people. So again, your household systems, your money systems, your marketing systems, and your sales systems. Yes, there are other systems. There's self-improvement systems. There's exercise systems. There's, food prep systems, all that stuff. And you can get very granular with it. But those are what I think the biggest buckets are. And hopefully this has helped you. You can get out a piece of paper, you can make a chart, and you can write down at the top of each column, household, money, marketing, and sales. How am I going to handle those? How am I systematizing them? Is the system working? If it's not working, what can I do to improve it? Even if I have to take it back manually for a while to make sure that it's clicking so that when I hand it off to someone else, it's in shape. Like it is ready to be taken over by a professional so I can focus on the other things that I need to put my attention on in my business. So I hope this was helpful to you. It's my goal to help you enjoy your life, build your business, and have your way. And, I think it's doing that. Let me know. Am I doing that? Yes. I don't know if they do applause, like those little applause emojis. I would love to know if this is helping you. I would love to know what your questions are, and I would love to be able to help you if you need help one-on-one at DonnaMaria.com. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow on our open mic day. Bye-bye.